Welcome to the show, and here are your hosts, the diabolical Elite Gaming Guru, the illustrious Red Dead Panda, and the Australian stud AshtreyGaming. So let's get this party started. Shit.
And we are live. Elite, yeah. Start us off.
Oh, good. Nice one. Nice one. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another podcast, another episode of the Gamers Niche podcast, episode 88. I think it is.
Yep.
Yes. Welcome. So we've got myself, Red Dead Panda. What's his face? AshtreyGaming.
What's his face?
And
Is that a new panel member?
yeah, he's new. He's Australian. and welcome back, everybody. Drum roll. Jen of Windows Central. Jen. Yes. It's like Cher or Madonna. We've got Jen.
Just Jen.
It's
Just
great to have you
Jen.
back, Jen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just Jen.
Just Jen.
Just Jack.
Great.
Just
And she's fabulous. No, it's fantastic to have you back again. We're shocked you returned, to be honest. But it is good to have you back.
She
Yeah,
Jen
Elite usually
returned for
pushes people
Ashtray
away.
and myself for no other reason other than to hang with us two, okay? Elite?
Yeah.
There was a disclaimer signed involving what Elite could and couldn't say to me, so
Yeah. I send Red and Ashtray Marmite, so that's what keeps me. So,
Ooh, yeah.
New Zealanders make their own Marmite and Australia has Vegemite, so I think we're sorted.
I
Yeah.
was just going to say, you guys have Vegemite, don't you? Isn't that the same thing?
Vegemite.
It's better
It is.
and it's different.
It's better but different.
Yep.
It's better but different but similar.
Yep. Exactly. You got it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So what you guys been playing?
Who are you starting off with, Elite? Do you want to start off with our
I'm
guest?
gonna,
Yeah.
I'll start with Jen. Yeah, of course I was talking to Jen. Why would I be speaking to you guys? Jen, what have you been playing? Never
Oh,
mind
I
these
did feel
two.
special.
Yeah.
What have I been playing? So, I finished Hi-Fi Rush. I've been gushing about it a lot on Twitter. I started off not feeling sure about that game because I've never played a rhythm game before to completely and utterly falling in love with it. I actually got emotional in the last few levels, so I couldn't believe it. So yeah, the story's not going to like break any boundaries or anything, but I did get attached to the characters and just the music in the game. So I will be doing another playthrough. I am trying to get some of the achievements, although I've already accepted that I'm not going to get all of them. One of them's to get through the game without taking any damage.
Oh my!
I've not got time for that.
Immediately no.
Yeah, I've just looked through some of them. Like, no, that's not happening. But there are a few that I want to try and get, and just have an excuse to go through again, maybe on a higher difficulty even. So yeah, I'm just in love with that now, and I'm hoping we get some DLC or a sequel. I think it could be a big franchise for Xbox. What else have I been playing? I've been trying to finish Dead Space as well. I'm near the end. I think I've got 2 chapters left of it. So yeah, going from between Hi-Fi Rush and Dead Space is a bit of a whiplash.
Completely opposite
Those
games.
2 games are very different. Yeah. So I've kept one game to my daytime game and one as a nighttime curtains shut type thing. I'm sure you can guess which one's which.
Hi-Fi Rush, right?
So, yeah.
Night time.
Yeah. So yeah, once I've finished Dead Space, I would like to probably play Hogwarts Legacy. But I'm not starting anything new because I'm the kind of person that will play something until I finish it and then move on to the next game. I find it incredibly difficult to play multiple games at once. But this first quarter has just been bombardment of games.
Yeah, because
So I felt like I've had to play things.
we've got Atomic Heart coming out next as well. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, and Wild Hearts as well, which is like EA's version of Monster Hunter with less crazy crafting menus. So I'm really interested to try that. So I need to get Dead Space finished, but I'm pretty sure I'm near the end, and it's a nice short game. So I'm very grateful for short games nowadays. Very grateful.
Nice. Red, what have you been up to?
What was Elite gonna say?
I was going to say, I did Monster Hunter, yeah, I did try that. I downloaded the new one, but it is far too complicated. I couldn't be bothered with it.
Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah.
I
think
downloaded
all
it.
the-
I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to sink
Nah,
any time
I'd look at
into
it.
it. It's just there's so much on that game. Like I'm like,
It's
Yeah,
not got a great first experience for like new people.
Jumping in
they
for the
they
first
just they
time,
do
yeah.
bombard you with a lot of tutorials at the start, and
Yeah.
it can be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I played Monster Hunter World, so I'm sort of already familiar with the menus in it. But even so, I will be grateful to try something a bit simpler. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Wild Hearts can offer.
Yeah. Gone in. Ashtray,
Really?
what you been playing?
What have I been playing? All right, fine. Been jumping in and out of different games as usual, but finished playing Assassin's Creed Origins, which I know I complained about for a while. Jumped in some Age of Empires 2.
Did you say you finished
that's-
Origins?
Yeah.
What do you think of it in the end?
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right.
I mean,
Okay.
it's not as good as Odyssey or Valhalla, but yeah, it was good.
Mm.
Yep. Enjoyed, again, the tomb raiding stuff. Got that really cool ESO suit that you can get underneath the Sphinx,
Yep.
which is really cool.
I like that
So-
suit. Yeah.
It's awesome. So I got a few screenshots of that. Jumped in and out of Hi-Fi Rush, played some Evil West. I still haven't finished that yet. I've got some gameplay of that as well. And then Hogwarts Legacy, like most people. Big shout out to Boba Fett Gaming for gifting that to me yesterday. So I downloaded that, jumped in and played probably, I don't know, only about half an hour or so of it. So I'll sink my teeth into that today. And that's it.
Oh, yeah. Well, very quickly before I talk about what I've been playing, shout out to the chat. We've got Mr. Kima, Killers Heaven 82. My sister jumped in chat to say hi. She'll watch it after the show. But Red Wolf jumped in to say hi, and we'll have more people jumping in as we continue. So everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. Hit that like button, share it out. Hi, David Cohen. Yeah. And yeah, what have I been up to? I have been playing some Assassin's Creed Valhalla this week.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm after a game where I get to shoot with a bow and arrow in an open world type setting, and I was like, I really, really feel like I don't know, something kind of like that. And so put Valhalla back in, and it's been slowly going through that because I left it at like I was like 140 or something power level, and I stopped playing for ages, and now I'm over 200. So yeah, I'm getting there slowly. I have been playing Hogwarts Legacy. My sister and I went halves on it, and so we opted to go for the version that gives us 3 days early. And so I've been playing that and thoroughly enjoying it, and we'll be talking about it later in the show. But
Yes,
yeah,
we will.
that's my gameplay up. So I do apologize, you know. Yeah, but it's a really good game. I love it. Is there anything else I've been playing? I don't think so. Not this week, anyway. Those are my two staple games, but I'm probably going to chuck in some Vampire Survivors again because I just released some DLC, so there are more achievements that I can go hunting for. Yeah, it's a bit of an addictive approach. That game is so addictive. I uninstalled it because it was taking up my life, and I was like, ugh.
That game is just incredible.
Yeah,
Should have been Game of the Year last year.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
Yep. And Elite, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush. I think I don't know how far away I am. I've just defeated the green-haired boss guy. That's a bit mental. And yeah.
Oh, the guy who defund him?
Yeah, you defund him. Yeah.
He was fun.
Yeah, how far was that? I just
He's
just
like
defeated
the
him.
second official boss, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then official, proper like head boss type thing.
yeah,
And then you're going into the security place next. Yeah.
yeah. I've been playing Age of Empires as well. Really enjoying that. So yeah, I'm loving the transition from keyboard to controller. It's quite sort of simple. It's not very complex at all. It's really sort of straightforward and simple. I'm surprised these games have not been on console before, to be honest, or controller enabled. Yes, I played that, and then Conan as usual. I don't think there's anything else. I didn't bother with GoldenEye. It's not really interested me. Yeah, I'm waiting for Atomic Hearts to drop. So yeah. So there.
You're just waiting for Atomic Heart? You're not going to play
Yeah.
Hogwarts?
Nah. If it drops in price and stuff like that, I may think about it. I'd love that game to have been an MMO. I don't know why I didn't make it an MMO. It'd have been brilliant. Imagine if you had loads of people all following different schools now, and then you sort of had like PvP elements where you play like Quidditch against other real players and things like that. Would have been great.
Well,
But
I mean, for this being the RPG that it is, I think as a whole, if this does well, they might look at that in the future.
yeah, maybe make a world out of it, so loads of players can play
It'll
together.
turn into games as a service, and they'll be dead in a year.
Yeah.
How to kill a game in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically.
Yeah.
How to kill a game in less than 12 months. Make it a game as
Yeah,
a
I'm not too
service.
sure. What was that rating though? By, are we covering that one of the topics? That rating by who was it? Wired that give it a 1 out of 10.
We can talk about it. Yeah, we can.
We will, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will get there. But we're just gonna start off into our first topic. It's a very simple topic, but basically, Compulsion Games. They've got their new game in development, and there was a job offer spotted there around what they're working on for this. But I guess my biggest thing is, like, we haven't heard anything really about Compulsion Games since they announced the acquisition back in 2018, being acquired by Microsoft. What are your thoughts? Like, because the game is obviously fully in development, and they're obviously looking for a character creation manager in this respect. So there's going to be some character creation options. But what are your thoughts on this? Are you guys excited for what Compulsion Games might be bringing? Are you still kind of on the fence as to why we haven't heard anything from them since releasing We Happy Few, and now that's completely finished? Yeah, we've heard nothing from them. What are your guys' thoughts? Who would like to answer this? Yeah.
I'll go first if that's okay.
Shoot, Jen, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I actually really enjoyed We Happy Few, and I think they got a raw deal
Mm-hmm.
on that game.
I agree.
I'm really interested to see what they will come out with following that. That's probably why they have been quite quiet, because they got burnt, really, didn't they, when that came out?
Yeah, because they also they're after like principal character artists in this as well. Yeah, they got burned quite badly after
Yeah,
that,
but
yeah.
it did have some. It had a good story. It had great gameplay. It was so buggy. I mean, I had a great time with the game, but even I didn't complete it in the end because I came across a game-breaking bug. And I ended up. But I loved the story so much. I did watch someone else complete it on YouTube just to see, what the end of that was. And I remember at the time thinking that, this would have been a lot better if it had been a cheaper release, not a £60 game as it was in the UK. And then someone actually on Discord linked me to a documentary. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Have you seen The Cost of Joy on YouTube?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, that documentary is great. If you want to know more about Compulsion Games and how much of a passion project We Happy Few was, you just go watch that. The pricing of that game was down to their takeover by Gearbox. Not what they wanted to release it as. They went from wanting to set the price at like $30-40 to being told it had to be $60, which changes how people view your game straight away.
Yeah.
They're expecting different levels of world building and all of that. So yeah, I just think they had a really raw deal, and I ended up not playing the DLC even though I enjoyed the game, but I still would love to see what else they can do. I think they've got a lot of potential as a studio, and I still think they were a really good buy for Microsoft.
I think they were, because We Happy Few, such a neat art style, such a neat world. So creepy with the faces, and I'm like, I want to see what they do next. That was the big thing after the We Happy Few. I was like, I really want to see what they do next. And when Microsoft announced the acquisition of them, I was like, yes. But I
just hope they take everything that they learned from what went wrong with that game and turn it into something amazing. I think they're definitely capable of that.
Well, yeah, because they're really capable of listening to the community as well. Like the changes that they made based on community feedback was really needed and warranted and appreciated as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ashtray, your thoughts? Are you excited? I mean, we haven't heard anything, and it's been like how many years?
Yeah, well, I mean, We Happy Few was what, 2016 or something?
2016, 2017, something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So, I mean, that's been quite some time. This isn't the only job going at Compulsion either, by the way. So
Yeah.
this is just the latest listing. There's still some others out there, but the fact that the role is for a principal character artist, and the game or the project is now in full production. So that's definitely. They've obviously gone through their concept phase. They've gone through,
Looked at the
you know,
scoping.
yeah, exactly. And so now they're at the sort of more, all right, well, let's build this and let's refine it, because specific roles to the requirements is to work and support 3D modeling and texturing, supporting the art team and producing, polishing character models. So it's really sounds like this is kind of, it feels like it's kind of more towards the end, actually,
Yeah.
to me. So that's a good sign. But I booted it up, I think, and played it for a couple of minutes and just wasn't in the right headspace to play that game. Art style for me is not my type of thing, really. So I'm sort of more neither here nor there on this. I figure with their other game that they had, it's going to be pretty much very similar in art style again, and probably the same kind of scope, maybe a little bit bigger, but I don't know. I'll just wait and see. It's not on my radar at this point
The
in
way
time.
they talked about the acquisition, they must have shown something really interesting to Microsoft, because they were looking at diversifying their portfolio, and so I think that whatever they're working on, they've got the full backing of Microsoft behind it. So I'm actually kind of excited to see what that title is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone said it might be an open world game, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
The
we'll
recent
see.
picture on Twitter had a picture of a guy holding a sword up in the air, didn't it?
Yes, but who knows if that's actually legit, though? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I thought there was speculation of what it was going to be. It had a name, didn't it? Midnight, didn't it?
I can't remember. But the image kind of
Pretty
looks
sure.
like Lady in the Lake type thing, with the way the sword is
Yeah.
kind of being held up. So, yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, well, welcome in for Umbra, by the way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did the title, working title was Midnight for the game. Yeah, but it's we have to wait and see what else comes of it. But yeah, I didn't play whatever it's called
We
either.
Happy Few?
Can't remember what it is. We Happy Few. Yeah, that's the one. I didn't play that. either. It's not that I wasn't disinterested, but I think by the time it sort of come around to, it was pre them buying them, and by the time it got on Game Pass, there's just so much to play. You know what I mean? It's just too much to play. But I'm looking forward to what they can do, because I know We Happy Few was something different. It did look something sort of special, and it looked like sort of the Bioshock sort of games, type of games. Is it Bioshock, isn't it? Yeah. So a bit sort of weird. So I look forward to what they can do, and I wonder if the game will pop out this year. That's all. Be nice, wouldn't it?
Well,
It could be the year of the shadow drop.
Yeah, it could be.
2023.
So that's a studio you could probably shadow drop their game, and it would be sort of cool. It's too much of a
Well,
issue, I think.
I think their game is going to be really perfect for Game Pass. It's one of those
Yeah.
things that are going to bolster that lineup. Yeah, because they've got so many studios now that are all like feel like their games are starting to come to fruition, and we're going to really start seeing those titles release on a regular basis. I've been saying this non-stop for like the last, I'd say, year and a half, 18 months. Like, I want to see what Compulsion Games is working on, and like seeing a job listing just makes me more like, I really want to see what they're making. Compulsion Games, just hit me up. I'll do some game testing for you if you want. I'm more than happy to.
We believe in you, Compulsion Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please hit up Red Dead Panda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So are we done on this topic?
Yeah, transition us over. Elite?
I just muted myself by mistake. Right. So I was going to click on the topic.
Professional
I knew it.
podcast. Yeah. Thank you, Jen. I second that. I second that.
I'm kind of distracted because I'm playing a game at the same time, and also I'm drinking coffee as well because I've
You're
got
not
my
drinking
daughter's going.
booze?
I know my daughter's going away in what's the time now? Oh, in about 5 hours. I've got to take her to Heathrow Airport. Got to drive her to Heathrow Airport. where she's going to pick up a flight at 3 in the morning. So I've got to do the driving. So I've got to stay awake now for the next 5 hours.
Oh.
So
Remarkably
I know.
sensible of you, Elite. I didn't think you were capable.
yeah,
His wife told him he had to do it.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, thanks for that. That's just amazing.
She
Anyway,
she
moving
padlocked
on.
the beverage from him, and he'll only get the key if he does this. So yeah.
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 All right. Okay. If you finished. Right. Take two. Take Two looks set to make layoffs. Oh, you what? That must mean Take Two are going under, doesn't it?
Yep.
Take Two looks set to make layoffs as part of the 15 million cost reduction program announced on Monday. The Rockstar and 2K Games owner revealed that they're just cutting back people to save some money. So, what's your opinions of this? Is Take Two going under? Are they collapsing? Are they lost a plot? Are they a really bad studio?
Well, the question is, where's the outrage?
Yeah.
This
none.
just doesn't bode
Yeah.
well for I can't even say that with a straight.
Cool.
Grand GT6. This GTA 6. This doesn't bode well for GTA 6, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in trouble. Ooh.
Yeah, it's in trouble.
Yeah.
No, it just means they can just bring out GTA 5 different versions of that for the next 20 years. Who cares?
Never charge them. Yeah. So yeah, there is no rage on it. Of course, no one said anything, and yeah.
I think we're just still desensitised at this point to hearing about these big companies making layoffs. It's just happening everywhere.
Yeah,
They-
it is
they
happening
all
everywhere.
They took too many staff on, didn't they, over
Yeah.
COVID, and this is just a hangover from that, in my opinion. So I don't know. I just think this is a bit of a non-issue.
I think it's a non-issue as well, but the people who make it an issue is when it's just Xbox and they just are like, oh, it must mean they're going under, or they don't know how to
they
manage
just use it as an
anything.
excuse to jump on them.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's
Yeah.
bad management if they can't look after their finances. It's like every single company is feeling this around the world, and you are just specifically going, oh, it must be Microsoft's fault that they're laying off staff.
Yeah, because Amazon and Google did the same, but yeah, there's no rage. They actually released more. We covered this, didn't we, in the podcast before?
Yeah.
They released more people, and there's no rage. Xbox done it, and they're collapsing as a company and failing as a company.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's incredible, isn't it? Incredible, weird bias.
I mean, it's sad. It's sad to see that this is happening. I get the saving in the cost reduction program because they've got to be smart around making sure that they're doing the right thing for the company and such. It is kind of sad with the economic times that we're coming into, people losing jobs. But with the industry, hopefully they can be mopped up with other companies or other areas within the industry. Fingers crossed. But again, it isn't looking great considering industry-wide there are layoffs happening. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of big businesses tend to do this around this time of year anyway, and then they rehire again after the financial year's over. So it's just typical
Absolutely.
of business. This is a good way to clean out and trim some of the fat anyway, because there's always people within businesses that just, like middle management usually, that are just don't do anything and just get really good pay.
Should we announce live Ashtray that we're also doing cost reduction and firing elites?
Well, I wanted to say that.
We're letting you go.
Wanted to say that to
I'm
the
his
end of the show.
replacement.
Yeah. I'll just press end stream now.
Sorry, Elite.
Oh my god.
Well, we're going to save it to the end of the show, but Red just couldn't help herself.
You're replacing me with Dauntless.
That's fine, we've got Jed.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
Clear out your desk, Bob.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great. Well, I can just mute Dauntless so you're fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he vanished as well. Talking of toxicity.
That's a segue.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ubisoft Toxicity system has a fast-tracked contract to local police. So, in an effort to stomp the curtail. I'll use the word
Curb
curb
stomp is
stomp.
fine if you want,
It's
you
a
know,
much better word.
broken
Yeah. They're calling the British Popo to sort out Ubisoft and find out your
Ubisoft
harassment.
is calling the police on you. You're getting swatted by Ubisoft.
Police. It's a Popo.
Popo.
The hot
Sort
phones.
sort out the harassment claim. So, Ubisoft, what's going on? Red, what's going on?
I think it's interesting because Ubisoft is working with the British police to force using the new alert system.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think this is interesting. This is one way that they're looking to kind of try and prevent that toxicity there. Is it going a bit far? Who knows? Maybe just slap on the wrist, harassment type stuff. But, like, I think this is where things are heading. Like, a lot of companies are trying to figure out ways to kind of stop this crap. And hopefully...
Keeping in mind, it's only for extreme cases,
Yeah.
Red. So if it's something like, you know, a
death
threat,
threats.
yeah, in violence or bombing or whatever it might be, but it's high level stuff. It's not your typical "fuck you" type of thing. It's legit stuff where they
Yeah.
can actually, you know, prevent these people from.
I mean, people
online
who sent
bullying.
their dick pic to Sony Santa Monica to request a release date for a game, I think they deserve to get the
Well,
pole
I
pulled
really
on
wanted a
them.
release date, so
Well, they went back to you and asked you for a higher pixeled image.
Yeah. Can you make this 4K for me? Oh my god. Sorry. It is. I think it's important for those. Yeah, like you're saying, extreme cases. There's potential for harm if those people are that like going off their nut that bad. And we might see this extend out past the UK in future. Who knows? But I think it's one way to kind of look after the staff who work for these companies who get harassed or threatened quite significantly, because people,
Well,
like, if they find out where you work, they will show up.
Well, Red, they do say that it's also in 4 other locations around the world, although they haven't specified exactly where. Maybe they're just starting to roll it out slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Is it something that really is necessary? I mean, it depends on how bad some of these things are,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But to get the police
It's all
involved,
about
they're not going to
building
want
a
to waste their
picture,
time.
though, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's just they're filing reports every time something like this happens, which seems like not a big deal at the time, but when incidents do happen, they can then see a pattern of behaviour leading up to a serious incident.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good thing. Whether anything will come of it, whether they'll be able to actually prevent anything happening, I'm not sure.
But, I mean, okay, usually with stuff like this, though, what's the end result? Are these people just going to get a slap on the wrist, or are they going to get jail time, or what?
Permanent ban from Ubisoft games.
They'll just create, I don't know, they'll probably just spoof an IP address and change emails and just do it again. I mean, there's what...
I think
know.
I think it's really
Dunno.
important for these companies to really show that they take this stuff seriously and they care for their staff. And I think this is
Just
just that.
basic safeguarding, isn't it?
Yeah, like even in my company, we have like panic button at reception, and we have trained staff to come down if that panic button gets pressed to kind of like, and that people can't get in past our reception. But it's just like, there is that risk that you never know. It's just one person. You just need one person to take things too far, and then the industry will call out for why haven't we been doing better measures. So I think it's a really good way to kind of like stop that hitting that point. But yeah, some people are just, there's always going to be one person who ruins it for the rest. And I think they're just like, with the expectation and the amount of gamers who just keep taking it to the next level, and they're out there. There are some very toxic and radical individuals out there. This is just a good way to kind of go, hey, we do take this stuff seriously, and we are creating processes and putting them in place for this purpose. Yeah. Just in case. It's a safety net.
You don't think it's overkill, though? I mean, there's a lot of preventative actions set up within, you know, the likes of Xbox and PlayStation.
It could be, like, it might be seen as overkill, but it's like better to have acted than have not acted at all. Yeah, so you never know, because someone could like I said, take it too far, and I think it's just better to have it there just in case. They probably won't need it, but you never know.
Yeah, look, I suppose, I suppose at the end of the day, if anything, it's showing that they're trying to do something rather than sitting on their hands, I guess. So,
I mean,
We'll see.
this is where all their money's going for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
They've no longer got games. They're just dealing with the players. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Elite, what's your thoughts? He's muted himself.
Well, watch it, eh?
Yeah, I've not really got many thoughts on it, to be honest, which you've not already covered.
We
It's
know.
what it is, isn't it? You're gonna harass people. You get like a popo on your case, on your heels. So, yeah. Face.
They get 5-0 on you.
Yeah, 5-0. Yeah. On mofo stuff. Gonna get the fuzz on you.
The fuzz.
That's something else, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what Red's got.
He's already had his restraining order.
Oh my god. I'm about to put a restraining order against Elite for that comment.
Man, that's funny.
Oh, fucking funny. Oh,
Oh man, that is pretty funny.
it's bad. That's just
Yeah,
like
she
my
loves it.
comment last week too.
She says
And the
no,
week
that means
before
yeah.
was pretty bad.
Right. Should we move on to the next topic? It's a
Stop
good
being
one.
toxic, Elite.
Stop being toxic. Hogwarts.
Third, toxic.
Saying toxic. Right, so Hogwarts Legacy boycott it failed, didn't it? So,
Why is it like an English Valley Girl accent?
Because that's what it is.
that's how J.K. Rowling speaks.
Oh my god.
Please buy my book. Anyway, yeah, so it failed because they're trying to cancel it because it's not a very good game. And the stories are boring. No, seriously. They tried to boycott it because of reasons. Because why not? It's
Because
cancel
of
stuff.
reasons.
You know the reasons. You know the reasons.
I know the reasons, but they're not really real reasons, are they?
No.
No. So because the game's got nothing to do with their reasons, and it's another bag of nonsense in a bag of poo. Let's get Jen's thoughts on this.
What?
Oh, wait, way to drop me in there.
Yeah, I
We
know,
had
right?
a little bit more context here. Like,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah,
the boycott
No.
has failed
Yeah,
due
what
to
for?
Sink or swim.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hence
challenge.
the
Oh, I
console sales and PC sales for the
Yeah,
game.
popular.
Not full numbers released yet, but like even on Steam, there's like just shy of 500,000 people bought this game on Steam.
Yeah.
Selling well on Epic, selling well on the console, selling well everywhere. So it's just going to show that the boycott hasn't worked, and the reviews are in, and it's actually reviewing quite well. And we'll talk about a review which is more of a really horrific opinion piece. But yeah, we'll start off with Jen anyway, just to pat it out a little
I was
bit
just
more.
going to say anyway.
Yeah,
These people that were boycotting it they're not games anyway, so I don't know why they was boycotting it.
Well, then
But they're
there's
boycotting a
the
game they weren't ever going to buy in the first place.
Twitch streamers being harassed for streaming this game, and there's so much on this topic. But first off, we'll get Elite's. Oh, not Elite's. Jen's thoughts. Yeah. I don't want to hear
I
from
can
Elite.
offer a bit more of a measured opinion on this, probably.
Go for it.
Let's tone it down a little bit. I mean, I think people are entitled to, think what they want to think, have their values, and I'm completely behind someone who doesn't want to play a game because it is against their values and like they feel like the opinions of the IP creator are upsetting to them. Absolutely fine, you know what, you do you, all power to you. It's the way that they are trying to enforce that on the entire gaming community that I'm against. I personally don't equate playing a video game to someone's political beliefs. Video games are escapism at the end of the day. We know there's loads of developers involved in this game that have absolutely nothing to do with the person that created the IP. And they've worked really hard on it. And that being said, if you don't want to play it, don't buy it. It's that simple. But the witch hunting that has been going on for this game, I mean, websites dedicated to finding streamers that are playing it just to go on and bully them. I mean, you're saying that the person that created Harry Potter is toxic. How are you being any better by going onto people's streams and swearing at them and telling them they shouldn't be playing this game. Yeah, it's just all a bit stupid, isn't it, really? I haven't played it myself. My son has played it, but he got the deluxe version. He's really been enjoying it. Just from a perspective of, we were really into Harry Potter when he was little. He used to collect all the wands. There's a lot of nostalgia for him. He represents like 90% of the people that are playing this who don't live in a Twitter bubble. So, you know, they've got absolutely no awareness of what's going on online and everyone, all the infighting. They just want to play a Harry Potter game at the end of the day, and that's why the boycott hasn't worked. It's a really, really strong brand.
Yeah, people can look at it
So,
and
yeah,
go,
that's my thoughts.
that's the IP, and then completely separate themselves from her opinion and her views.
Exactly. I mean, where do you draw the line? Do you stop playing Blizzard games because of all the sexual misconduct? Do you, like, I love the Smiths. Morris is a complete cunt, but I still like the music. So where do you draw the line?
And I mean, she hasn't,
on what you take part in?
she hasn't had involvement around the development of this game, so it isn't really representative of anything to do with her views or anything like that. It's just the IP itself, and I feel like that IP should not be dampened by her comments. It's not fair in that respect. That IP hasn't done anything wrong. That hasn't been transphobic in any way or anything like that. It just, you know, I think it's stupid. But I'm also really, really upset with the people who have been trashing this game in the respect the gamers who are playing this. I think that dedicated to finding streamers who are streaming this and then go after them, those websites, that's ridiculous. And
It is, and it's embarrassing to see as a member of the gaming community, really.
Yeah.
You know, we should all be quite accepting of each other and not encouraging this kind of behaviour.
I mean, the gaming community is generally in agreement around that. We don't agree with what she said at all. Let's go on and play this game because it's got nothing to do with her, for the most part. But in saying that, the game has been reviewing really well, guys. Really well. It's like an 85 in general as a OpenCritic Metacritic score. So yeah, it's a good title to play. But I think Elite, you wanted to talk about Wired's review of this game as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so Wild's review, they scored it a 1 out of a 10 and basically slated it on every level. They just said the magic's rubbish, the story's rubbish. They literally just tore it apart, and it's the worst game they've ever played in their lives, apparently, which is, you can't help but think there's some sort of bias there, and they're sort of trying to make a statement for some reason, because, you know, looking at some of the games they've rated, this is the worst game they've ever played. And I think it's pretty ridiculous. And it's horrible that these journalists now are starting to sort of manipulate and do this kind of thing now. They're not being journalists, they're not being neutral. They're sort of having these agendas now and pushing it into gamers. And I think it's terrible, really. It's wrong, really. And I think these people should be reprimanded, you know, after their boss. Go on, what did you say, Jen?
Sorry, I read that article, and it took like about 7 paragraphs before the person that wrote it actually got to talking about the game, the gameplay itself.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, why are you writing a review? But I think if you are genuinely upset by the issues arising from the release of the game, why put yourself in a situation where you need to play it and review it? Because how can you review it objectively?
Yeah.
So if they were to give it a 1 out of 10 because they didn't enjoy it for various reasons, then that's absolutely fine. But it was quite clear from how that review was written that wasn't the case. They were very emotional about it from the get-go. Which, just don't write the review, hand it over to somebody else. Don't put yourself in that situation. They
was almost as angry as John Lindemann and his sort of take on the game. I'm not playing that shit. It's fucking shit. I hate it. Go away. It's a childish game. Fuck off. Things like that. You know. And he tweeted. He removed his tweet. Then he deleted it. So
did he? He mustn't have been on his medication.
Yeah. The guy's a flump anyway. So it's Red. What you got to say about it?
About the title? About that interview?
What?
I mean that review.
Yes,
Sorry.
the
About,
reviews
about
are-
anything.
Sorry about that.
About what
review.
you're having for dinner tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm having for dinner tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. Okay. If you don't like a game, if you don't like a game, I understand. But giving it a 1 out of 10. Like, people were moaning about who was it? That's Steve. It's her guy, whatever his name was, who gave what game was it? 6 out of 10. It was was it Horizon Forbidden West? Was that the one he kind of gave it 6 out of 10 or something? And then people were like, oh my god, going after them, saying this isn't fair. I can't remember which game it was actually, but it was a PlayStation exclusive game that he didn't score very highly with, and the community went after him. And I'm like, well, he didn't enjoy the game, and he made it very clear around the shortcomings, and it didn't seem like it was just a biased review in that respect. This feels very heavily biased around their views, and if they didn't want to play it, they should have just removed themselves from the situation and had someone else review the game. The fact that there's no magic in Hogwarts Legacy, I understand what they're talking about when the characters are a little bit one-dimensional, especially with the character creation, but you get to kind of flesh it out a bit with clothing you wear and other things like that. The game itself, I think, for myself, oh my god, I can't sentence today, apparently. I think it's an 8 out of 10, at least. I'm thoroughly loving it. The RPG mechanics are more in depth than I thought. The wand combat is more in depth than I thought it was going to be. It looks simplistic to begin with, but then you can, the combos and the open world. I think the map is probably my biggest gripe with that game. I do not like it. It just feels clunky to use and just not intuitive at all. But the game itself has good bones, and it just this whole review just seems to be seething with things not said specifically around their own viewpoints, and it's so biased.
Very emotionally charged,
It is
isn't it?
extremely. The fact that the story is rooted in anti-Semitic tropes, and I'm like, what? Where did you get that from, the game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't...
that's all about the goblins, isn't it? The goblins are anti-Semitic, but goblins are in Lord of the Rings, the many other IPs.
But I'm just that's them. It's not. They're not talking about the actual. That's not a real big view that this game is trying to push itself.
No.
So I'm just it's not the stories rooted in it. I think they're just running away with it and reading a lot more into it because you're right, they're so emotionally charged around what's happening with this game, and it doesn't really seem like it's an objective review.
It's not
at all, and I don't think it's fair to the devs because they've put a lot of work in. There are some shortcomings. I look at some of the facial animations with the characters, and it reminds me a bit of Mass Effect Andromeda a little bit. I look at some other things, I'm like, there's some of the loading with the texture pop in a little bit. So there's things in it that kind of break your immersion a little bit. But overall, they're small gripes. It's why I won't give it anything higher than 8 at the moment, because I'm like, those little things still kind of impact. But overall, it's a fun game to play around its gameplay mechanics, the story, etc., etc. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I think it deserves a chance to stand on its own, separate from this crap that J.K. Rowling has said. Yeah.
Well, yeah. This review was written with an agenda. I think this Gianna Gray, who wrote it, clearly
I think it's
has
more like a
strong feelings.
vigenda.
I don't know how to say it, but
No, I'm making a joke, don't worry.
oh right, okay, that wasn't funny. But anyway,
It wasn't funny.
Well, okay, if it's a reference to Fringe.
to me and Elite, all right, especially Elite,
Yeah.
all right, because he's the funniest one. Anyway,
Yeah, and the best looking.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was told you look like a foot, but anyway,
But one of those nice feet.
No, fungal fever.
Ooh, yuck, with black
Fungally
nails and
infected
stuff.
athlete's
Yeah.
foot. He looks like
Anyway.
athlete's foot.
Very nice.
So
Ingrowing toenails.
we're going off topic. Yeah, it was clearly written with an agenda. This person clearly wanted to get their hands on this so they could have their say. I bet you they don't usually do games that much, and probably went, this is the game I want to review because then I can instill my views, which they think are correct, on this. Now, does anyone actually know what J.K. Rowling said in her tweets? I've read it, and she's not transphobic at all. I do not take it that way. I do not see it in that way, shape, or form. It's just a bunch of psychotic extremists running with this shit, and then you pile on all of the other people that just want attention from all of this. That's
And
really what it boils down to. People want attention.
And in that picture, she looks bang tidy for her age. So.
Oh my God, Elite.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Never a dull moment when
dear.
Elite's here.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Did anyone actually play the original Harry Potter games? I remember having like
PlayStation?
copies of them on the PlayStation. They were so bad. I was actually really surprised that this game was as good as it looks based on those games. Because when I heard that they were making a game in the Hogwarts universe, I did think, oh, here we go again.
But just to finish off real quick, but I don't understand why we give or allow all these extremists to have such a loud vocal voice on the internet when it's such a small minority of people that are butthurt or offended or upset over something so trivial as what she said. And people are going to get pissed off at me for that. Read the fucking tweets and see what she wrote, because it's not transphobic whatsoever. If you take that out of that, then there's something wrong with you. You're looking for a fight. That's all I have to say on that shit. That pisses me off.
Yeah, a lot of her comments feel like they're coming from like a feminist opinion as well.
They
so,
are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. She's just trying to state that there's, women exist. And I agree with her. They do. So what's the problem?
I agree, they do exist. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got evidence.
I mean, there's two of us in the podcast.
Video evidence.
Jen, I'm glad they know that we exist.
Allegedly on one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Leaf
still
insert
see-
joke here.
Yeah, we've yet to see evidence on that, Jen.
Oh, that's right. You got to go through a screening process before.
Yeah. And there's nothing creepy about it whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh man, that's funny. See, that's gone.
Yeah.
No, I don't, personally, I don't like to tell people what to be offended by or not offended by. It's down to that individual for me.
Yeah.
It's just when they try and push that on other people that it really gets my back up.
Absolutely.
I agree,
That's where
like,
it pisses me off.
Similar to religion.
Yeah.
Do you. Don't
But
go
don't-
putting people down on the internet and telling them what to do. Just let it go.
Exactly. Don't force your opinions on us.
Yeah, but again, like,
Yeah.
if you own an iPhone, could you get an Android though? Because that's my opinion. That just want to
Androids
state
are
that.
better.
I'm gonna delete all my friends list if you come out and show me a picture of your iPhone.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah.
we've got somewhere else in.
Boycotting.
As I'm holding my iPhone in my hand.
Yeah.
Ah.
Bye, Ashtray. No, I'm kidding. Got to put
Now-
I thought better of you. I thought you were an Android person.
Hell no. Not that rubbish.
Now I'm
Androids are
questioning your intelligence.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Oh.
You're
I'm
free
joking.
to do so.
I
By
never
the way,
see your official IQ before I come back on the podcast again. No, I'm kidding.
The score for Hogwarts Legacy on PS5 Metascore is 84 and a user score of 9.1, so it's doing really well. On Xbox Series X,
89.
it's a Metascore of... No, I said 84.
No, on Xbox it's 89.
It's 90.
Oh, is it 90 now?
Mm.
It was 89
Yeah,
when
it's
I looked at
90.
it yesterday. Ooh.
It's 90 and 9.1 as user score, so it's tracking really well. I don't know what the Switch is because that hasn't been
PC is 84 as well,
advised
I
yet.
think.
No, the PC was 82 last I looked.
It's
actually
84
the
now,
lowest.
It's 84.
Is it 84 now?
Yeah.
Alright.
and a user score of 8.5.
Yeah, and I think
Oh.
what user score for Xbox is 9?
9.1.
Yeah, or 9.1. It's gone up.
Yeah.
So
I
the
just said that.
extra content didn't help the PlayStation version or the DualSense thing.
No, we actually
No.
rated it higher than they did. Just
Yep.
saying.
Yeah. Just saying.
Get less, get given more. No, I'm kidding.
Less is more.
More money thrown at a third party that's done nothing for him. Right.
Mhm.
Right, so let's move on to our next topic. What we got next? Oh, government. Oh, let's read this. Let me have a quick. Bear with me while I just read it. Microsoft Activision deal could harm UK gamers. It couldn't, because I'm from the UK, and I think Jen would agree it won't harm us whatsoever. And I hate that these people keep telling us that it's going to harm us when it's not. So,
What is it going to come in turkey slap you or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's-
They're going to
it's-
get Red Dragon.
it's- Yeah. It's going to get off us. I don't know. I just don't get their logic, and I just disagree with them completely. It's not going to harm the UK gamers whatsoever. It's going to benefit UK gamers because we get the option of spending paying 70 for it or not paying 70 for it. It's just that simple, and I just don't see how in any way, shape, or form it would harm anyone. So it's an option. So
I mean, if you
and
were
they're still running with the.
Oh,
Go on.
continue, Elite.
I said they're still running with the narrative that Xbox is going to make it exclusive. I don't know how clearer Phil needs to make it that it's not going to be exclusive.
So are the toxic
Sorry.
They've
fanboys.
committed to 10 years, haven't they? Which is
Yeah.
more than they need to even,
Yeah.
you know. For all we know, Call of Duty will be relevant in 5 years' time and it'll be another game.
Yeah.
So why commit to any longer than that on a platform? It's
'Cause,
just
yeah.
absolutely ridiculous, the whole thing.
Because 10 years probably gets us through this generation and then the next generation. So,
Halfway through next.
yeah. Yeah, so
But
I really
Elite-
don't see-
Elite, they're saying that it could result in higher prices, fewer choices, and less innovation.
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh, yes, that's...
What? What are you?
We talk about the Code Gaming comments that they made.
Oh, we're going to
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
the
it
other
all.
thing as well.
It's so good.
That's-
So much too.
Who was it? I think it was Paul Rock or someone said about that. Yeah, well, it's going to raise prices now. Sony have literally 2 years ago raised the prices of all their games. They also raised the price of their console. They also charged for updates, which they said they wouldn't do. They've literally just raised the price of everything. Even their VR's just stupidly overpriced compared to
I mean, look
others
at
on
the price
market.
of their Edge
And yet
controller.
they're concerned that Xbox prices might go up. I don't get the logic where Sony have put their price up, but they're concerned that Xbox might follow suit. It's ridiculous. Why is Xbox held to these special rules?
I'm surprised
and
the
sort of-
CMA didn't say they're afraid that Xbox might just shadow drop more games at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're afraid that they're afraid Xbox might be the market leader, and they cannot allow that because that's it. That's their argument.
But,
We
but
can't allow Xbox to be market leader. Why's that? Because
yeah,
okay.
but to add to this, like, they did an in-depth investigation and their findings, like provisional findings, raised concerns around like cloud and console gaming. Specifically, I think the merger could make Microsoft even stronger in cloud gaming. Like, no one else is really stepping up to the plate in that respect as much as Microsoft has been to that degree for cloud gaming. Could mean that stifles competition for other companies wanting to grow in the cloud gaming market and harming UK gamers who cannot afford expensive consoles. What? Like, that statement's
Tell
stupid.
me you don't know what cloud gaming means without telling me you don't know what cloud gaming means.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
couldn't play cloud gaming on a freaking Tamagotchi.
Or you said
Play it on
actually.
my smart fridge, yeah.
That's what riles me so much about these statements that they make. They say they've done an in-depth investigation, but a lot of the stuff that they say in this paperwork, you know, it doesn't stand up to the even most basic research that you can do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not
Really basic.
any kind of IT expert, but I know more than the bloody CMA.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
you
going
can
to
look-
get
you can
heavily
just log on-
scrutinized and completely destroyed.
Or you can just log onto Twitter any given day, and anyone, just the average gamer, will tell you how it is, tell you the truth. You don't even have to research it. You just log onto Twitter and just find any comment, and people have listed it so many times. And the thing I find weird, which is completely overlooked, Sony have thrown all these allegations and things at Xbox and that. So they've sort of come forward, haven't they, and said, "Well, can you got evidence, anything?" And Sony have gone, "No," and then people are like, just fine with that. It's like, "Oh, okay, then, cheers." How can you take them?
They might as well
anything
have
they say
just
to merit?
they might as well have just copy pasted an email from Jim Ryan, and you know that's their case. Pretty much. It seems more about protecting Sony and their interests than actually protecting the consumers.
Exactly.
'cause, like,
Which is, yeah, go on, sorry.
I was going to say, if you want to look at competition, and such, they would be putting COD potentially on Switch, which is improving competition between those guys. It'll mean that PlayStation will now have to vie and have another potential competitor there. So why is this such a bad thing? Like, they're complaining about the rivalry between Xbox and PlayStation. Like, oh my god. PlayStation has really
Sony
caused
have
a lot
such
of
an
this
aggressive
rivalry, though.
Yeah, Sony have such an aggressive marketing strategy as well.
Yep.
I mean, recently, even with the Hogwarts, their marketing strategy is that nobody seems to know that it's available on either other platform than PlayStation, because that's their marketing. They've obviously got a deal, you know, with the makers of Hogwarts Legacy. That when I've mentioned that it is available on Xbox, people have looked at me in dismay, like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
Well, people are inherently dumb though as well.
I mean,
That as well, but so stuff like that goes on, which again, it's fine. You know, they've paid for that privilege. You know, fair enough. But these people like the CMA seem to completely ignore this.
well, considering the price difference between, like, when they're talking about the expensive consoles, makes me laugh because there's a price difference between the consoles. The more expensive console is the PlayStation, and that's their fault because they put it up. But it just makes me laugh. This sort of stuff just makes me laugh. That this is a statement that they're saying. Like, the fact, like, we understand that a lot of, I can't remember what the percentage was. It was just an article. A lot of people choose to buy a PlayStation because of those COD exclusivity deals. So they'll be losing revenue on console sales and software and microtransactions and all of that. And so I can understand why they're holding on to COD like a life raft, because they've built a model around, you know, obviously COD keeping them afloat. But that's their problem. How is it Microsoft's fault that Microsoft has diversified itself around the genres that they offer to kind of pique a multitude of different gamers' interests and subscribe to their services and play their games and give them access to third party at a cheaper price? PlayStation has really kind of stuck to their guns on those story-driven 30 FPS over-the-shoulder bow and arrow type games, and they've kind of cornered themselves into that, and they haven't diversified themselves enough. Like, if you are more diverse, you'll bring on more gamers naturally. If the other company has a title that you don't have, so all those people who say you choose PlayStation because of the exclusives, that's just you. The casuals choose it because of God.
Yeah, how is it Microsoft's fault that Sony have hung their survival on a third-party game?
Yep.
It's not.
Absolutely. I mean, they took the exclusivity deals away from Xbox. You know what? Back in the 360 gen or Xbox, start of the Xbox One gen, whenever it was, and have basically held it hostage since. So for them to basically rely on that to fund their other games is their problem as well. So I agree with that. The CMA and the FTC and all these acronyms are just very short-sighted. They clearly don't know anything about the gaming industry whatsoever. But just to think that essentially it's like Xbox and Nintendo and PlayStation, whereas you got Apple and Amazon. I mean, Amazon's just hired a new head of gaming. So they're clearly, you know, ramping up their efforts, and we'll probably start to see something in the next couple of years really come out of there. So it's naive of them to be like this, to take Sony's or Jim Ryan's word for any of the BS that he's spread. It's going to come undone at some point in time. It's just going to be interesting how it looks at the end of it, whether, you know, Activision Blizzard King stays intact, what kind of concessions, if any, at this stage are going to actually end up happening. You know, they've said that Sony is radio silent to Activision and to Microsoft. However, they're saying that a PR for Sony is apparently saying that they're in talks with Microsoft still. But apparently it's radio silent. So, you know, they're not willing to fork over any documentation that they've been requested for. They delayed it 4 times. Even the FTC, I think it was, that requested some documents from PlayStation, and they've refused to do it. So it's not really looking good to them. Once they have to cough up the documents to prove where they're actually at, where their revenue stream comes from, and whatever else they've, you know, got coming in the pipeline, and all that gets laid out, they don't have a case. They really don't. And I don't know. I've asked this, and someone in the chat, or you guys on the panel might be able to answer this, is can Microsoft and Activision Blizzard countersue the FTC, CMA, and Sony on all of this? Because clearly it's not fair on what they're trying to do, and what they're saying is just got no meat to it whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing that
It's
really
down
annoyed me.
some-
Oh, go on, sorry, go on, Jim.
One
Go on,
at a
Jim.
time, yeah.
Yeah, one at a time, Jen. I was here first.
Sorry.
No, I'm just going to say, the other thing I find weird is their whole argument about Xbox basically now ain't allowed to do what they do. Ain't allowed to take a market lead in gaming subscriptions or cloud, because Sony are basically behind on it. Did you read all that? Because Sony have not got a foothold in it, not behind in it. Xbox have an unfair advantage. So
But that's why I brought up. That's why I brought up Apple and Amazon, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be in cloud. And what I'm trying to say is that it's bigger than Sony.
Yeah,
Gaming industry is growing.
No, it is. Yeah, but I don't understand why Xbox have to have their hands tied. They're not allowed to have an edge in any market. Well, Sony, like VR, Xbox has not got a in the VR market, but Sony's allowed to compete in that. But Xbox, you know, why is Xbox? Why Sony not being having their hands tied in the VR market? Because Xbox don't want to compete in that. Why is Sony free to do it?
It definitely feels like Microsoft are held to different standards than the rest of the market for whatever reason.
Definitely.
And it's being used at the moment as political fodder.
Yeah,
more than anything.
Because Sony had their chance do the whole cloud thing and the streaming thing with Gaikai, and they fucked it up. They spent 250 million buying Gaikai, screwed all that up. Then they went to Microsoft and said, "Could we have the Azure thing?" And obviously they not taken advantage of that. So they've had the opportunities, and they don't want to take that opportunity. So why is that? Why is Sony Xbox being held back because of it?
That is
because
a great
Sony
point, bringing up Gaikai in the point they attempted this and they didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Around what they were doing with cloud gaming, and Xbox is doing it right. How is it Xbox's fault that PlayStation either jumped too soon or didn't do anything correctly?
Didn't invest.
Yeah, because they stopped investing in Gaikai after they bought them. That is not on Xbox. If anything, PlayStation has shown off that they weren't ready for cloud gaming as a business. And they're still not 100% there because their online services aren't great. The fact that you have to pay for cloud saves is bullshit. That you can't just... And the workarounds for it is bullshit. It's so overly complicated and convoluted, it's ridiculous. Like, they can't even give simple instructions. It should be a straightforward thing, but when they write out the instructions, it's like, do I need a map to understand this? It's so ridiculous. And and I just think this is not on Microsoft. Like, you want to protect competition? Allow Microsoft to compete. Yes, it would be giving them a massive leg up, but PlayStation did a lot of damage to Microsoft last generation just by doing what they did around competing. And so PlayStation, you need to just step aside. You're already competing with Nintendo. Nintendo's ridiculous in its own right. You're competing with PC. You're competing with just gamers' times in general. Like, you're competing with the mobile market. Why aren't they complaining about the mobile market? Like, you know, like, just get a life already and just realize that they've outmaneuvered you because their wallet is bigger.
Yes, Sony, get a life.
Get a life.
Not the first time.
Get a new Ryan,
Sony,
please. Anyone. Anybody.
Sony did push ahead with the...
Whoa.
Sorry.
I was going to say, Sony did push ahead first with the gaming subscription services with PS Now. And they didn't do very well at that. So
Well, that was their
Microsoft did better at that.
start,
So yeah. So because Sony's failing at these certain markets, I can't see why Xbox is not allowed to sort of push forward on. They have to hold back and wait for Sony to catch up, or be allowed to compete equally. While Sony's allowed to invest in things like VR, and Xbox, don't want to, but there's not like, oh, Sony, sorry, you're not allowed to invest in VR because Xbox doesn't want to. And they don't want to, so I don't like this. This is weird. I can't see how in court this would just stand up in front of a judge. Surely the judge would just look at this. This is the bollocks. What are you wasting my time for?
Why is
Especially
Disney
if Sony saying, we've got no evidence of anything and we're not going to produce anything. When asked by Microsoft, can you produce any of the statements and whatever you've made? And Sony have just gone quiet. They've got nothing to show for it. What kind of... it just looks ridiculous.
Regulators just don't understand how dynamic the gaming industry is. They really think, Sony's profits all hinge on Call of Duty, and that's not the case. I mean, Vampire Survivors, for example, came out last year, less than a tenner, and it, took the world by storm. And that can happen at any time. It doesn't all hinge on Call of Duty. It's not going to give Microsoft that much of an edge having that game, the one that they've promised to give Sony for 10 years anyway. None of this stands up in court, but the problem is in the UK, as far as I'm aware, the CMA is the last word on it. It can't go to court if they turn it down.
Damn.
But they have, so they have said that they would be more open to the deal if Microsoft were to get rid of Call of Duty. But who else would buy it? Who would have the money?
Because how many studios work on
Exactly.
that? And
so
some of those studios...
let's say Tencent or EA buy it. How is that any more... How is that any less of a monopoly than Microsoft having it, who want to put it on Game Pass?
I think Ubisoft needs
and give it to more people.
That is the bias there, where Xbox is not allowed to have it, but anyone else is allowed to have it. So Xbox, you can't have it, but we're going to offer up to anyone else. Anyone else want it? Xbox not allowed.
Exactly.
Put your hand down.
They don't care about anyone having it, but Microsoft is what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's a clear bias.
Yeah, because I would just imagine, like, if Sony could have afforded just COD by itself, they would have been happy to buy it. Like, and then there wouldn't have been like all this crap around anti-competitive and all this. I just feel like it would have been a completely different conversation point here, and I don't feel like you'd be getting
have it. It's a shit game. It's fine. No one wants it. We don't want it. I just want Diablo on Game Pass.
I was just going to say on top of that as well, Nintendo said, we don't really care, we survived perfectly fine without Call of Duty. And they sort of dismissed Nintendo, saying, yeah, you're not really included in this, didn't they? Sort of just pushed them aside. Yeah, you're not part of this equation. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not competition.
Yeah, you don't count as competition. Oh, really? Okay, we're just selling more consoles than the PlayStation at the moment, but yeah, we don't count as competition.
I think
it's not ridiculous.
Microsoft, you just need to go through and go, Sony, can you please provide evidence of your failed attempts at entering the cloud gaming market and prove why you shouldn't be doing it? Yeah.
I'm just glad that Microsoft is sticking their lawyers onto them and getting, because I mean they'd have some of the best lawyers in the world most likely, especially with acquisitions that they've done over the many decades that they've been acquiring different businesses, but they're doing it so much that Sony's accusing them of harassment. This is like a case of the bully finally getting a hit and then crying to mum and dad.
Yeah.
That a kid hit him, kind of thing.
Jim Ryan flying to Brussels and his jet is not being too invested in this deal. Come on.
Exactly right. Microsoft are asking for like performance documentation and everything.
Yeah.
And they've been told to limit the scope to just two executives, right?
Yeah. But they're well within their rights. They're asking for what they need to prove their case, and they're doing it the smart way. They've got again the smart lawyers, and they're calling Sony's bluff, which is fantastic to see.
If anything,
in my opinion,
Sony's been the one who's been harassing everybody around this goddamn deal. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
not a good look for them, is it?
No, it's not. And although Bobby Kotick wants the deal to go through, he was in an interview too, wasn't he, recently? Or he's been in a few.
Yeah, he has.
To say that Sony doesn't have a leg to stand on, and
give me a chance to fix this. Why did my thing die?
What's wrong?
Oh, Give me a second. I've got something that I was going to play the video. I'll put it back very quickly and fix the video.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you guys watch that video at all?
Yes.
The interview?
I didn't,
he was getting asked quite a few questions in regards to, the performance of COD and how much money they're making from it. It was like 5.3 billion or something that they've Activision Blizzard made in the last quarter. They're just doing really well, good numbers. And yeah, I mean, he wants it to go through obviously because he's going to get a huge payout. But we then because if it doesn't go through, he's going to stay.
Yeah.
And no one wants that, right?
No. It's almost essential to Activision Blizzard's survival that Microsoft do take them. And it would be better for all the workers as well because Microsoft are pro-union. I do not see who this deal doesn't benefit. I really don't.
That's what this discussed about the CMA trying to block it. Can you imagine if they do block it and then Activision crumbles and goes under and COD just vanishes altogether and all of them would lose their jobs? That'd probably be Xbox's fault as well.
If that happens and I lose Diablo, I will burn that establishment down. And this podcast will be used as evidence.
But just for the record,
you're gonna get the poll called on you, Jen. You're gonna get the poll called on you. It's an extreme thing that you're gonna
do. Yeah. So are you putting up the Bobby thing?
It's up.
Is it?
Oh,
Okay.
I can't see it.
Well, there's a delay. That's why.
There's a delay.
Why is there a delay?
Because there always is.
Because your mum.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Sorry.
God
I'm
damn.
sure your mum's lovely.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Huh? Right.
Yeah. She's coming out big guns. I was going to say, anyway. Yeah, it was a typical journalist that was just trying to catch Bobby out and she and just, they're just negative and they have no idea what she's talking about. It's just, I don't know. And then she just made it look stupid like they always are. It's just brilliant. She's like asking questions and he's just answering them like.
Oh, to do.
I mean, I've got no love for the.
To bring up the PlayStation thing, I'm just going to turn the thing off. But to bring up the PlayStation bit, like, and ask them about that, I thought his response to them that was great. Like, well, actually, PlayStation isn't even responding to us anymore. They've stopped listening to our calls. This is the time frame where we hear from them around what we're going to be working on in future, like including like I guess marketing deals and those sort of things. And they've got complete silence. And this is also hearing that Microsoft is getting complete silence from Sony. So I think it's interesting if they really need Activision's Call of Duty, then why are they not playing ball? Yeah.
I would love Xbox to play really hard. If this gets cancelled, I'd love Xbox to go, oh well, fair enough, we can't own Activision. Bobby, here's because we can't own you, here's 70 billion anyway, just to make the game exclusive to Xbox forever, starting from day one, from today.
That probably won't happen, but the fact that they could at least make it exclusive content and all that kind of stuff, exactly.
Or even make it
Sony's
exclusive
doing 6
months. Make it exclusive 6 months on Xbox. They could probably get away with that as well.
Much as you joke though, this can't be doing anything good for the relationship between Xbox and Sony and Activision Blizzard.
No.
Well, Xbox and Sony hate each other anyway.
They tolerate each
other. I don't think they hate each other.
They tolerate.
They tolerate each other. You know, they are aware that they're competitors, but yeah, I just think if it doesn't go through, I think Sony is shooting themselves in the foot for future deals.
I think around Activision's opinion of Sony, the fact that it feels like Sony is really... I mean, I feel sorry for Activision in the sense that they're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place around, like, they're getting caught up in all the console war crap and like, what they're trying to do between the two companies. And so it's negatively impacting the developers in that respect. But Sony really is blind to the overarch... like, the long-term ramifications of what they're doing if they have to have future dealings with Activision around Call of Duty and so on and so forth. You don't obviously... What is it? What's the saying about something more honey than vinegar? I can't think of what it's called.
I don't know, but you don't shit where you eat.
Yeah, that's true. You don't shit where you eat.
So
you don't bite the hand that feeds you. There you go.
Yeah, there's another one. I mean, look, they're really. I wouldn't care about the relationship between Xbox and PlayStation. It's PlayStation and Activision, and they're burning their bridge with them. I mean, they're not doing themselves any favors. The money talks. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll go, well, we don't like you guys, but as long as you pay us money, we'll still do this. Sure. But it's got to be putting a strain on that relationship. But Bobby Kotick, as much as a slimy prick that he is, he's smart, and he's obviously in that position because he's a smart dude. In the interview, he brings up, and he's talking about the mobile market, and he's talking about Apple and all that kind of stuff. He's broadening it. So if you listen to it's Elite, it's actually really worth your 8 minutes of time to watch the interview, because
100%. It's really
the
good.
way he talks, what he talks about. He's expanding the gaming beyond Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation, and he's talking about mobile market, and he's talking about the Amazons and stuff, and he really paints a picture to these guys on it's bigger than just Sony.
Yeah.
And that's really important for people. I know it's on Fox Business, but so be it.
Fox
But it's
Business
getting
wasn't
to
the one
people.
who talked about the controllers, or whatever it was that they made a comment about. So that's okay. It was Fox News who did that one.
Rubbish. But yeah, so it's definitely worth looking at that interview and just how he paints that picture of where it's all at and how it works, and opening people's eyes on it. Yeah. That's all I got.
So there.
And
So there.
Actually, Jen, as we've got Jen here, do you hear anything in the background of sort of Windows? What their thoughts are on it? What's the people in the office thoughts on it all?
that you're allowed to say.
Yeah. Yeah, no spoilers, but what's people generally talking about in the office? So they think it's all bullshit, all livid.
She's gone for a
I'm not
poo.
sure
You
what I
can't
can
kiss and
say.
tell.
Yeah, she's going for a plop again.
Oh my god!
Oh my lord.
See,
Oh, no,
this
she's
is
back.
why we were replacing Elite with you, Jen.
I'm here.
Oh,
Oh, and
live from the toilet.
can you-
Says Elite, who is usually either in the toilet or a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jen, yeah,
Recognize the sound.
any chat in your office? What are people thinking at Windows Central about the whole thing?
I mean,
What
I'm
you
not
say?
really saying anything leak wise.
No.
Am I? If I'm saying that we're pretty despondent
Annoyed.
about the whole thing. I mean, if you've seen Jez's article recently,
Yeah.
he's not feeling very
Who's Jez?
optimistic about the deal going through. Just from the talk at the moment, just because the UK, I don't know, they just are so backwards when it comes to technology, civil servants over here. So it's just not feeling great at the moment.
Mm.
And I know in his professional opinion, he's not feeling great about it. So
Yeah.
we'll see. And it's a massive market. It's not like they can just do it everywhere else but the UK. It hinges on it going through in the UK and America
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of the volume of sales they have in here in America. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
there you go.
Oh well, I live in Australia, so if it doesn't go through the UK, but it does here, then tough luck.
I
I'm
mean,
more bothered about the waste of time it's been if it doesn't go through than anything. It's been
Yeah.
what, 2 years, 3 years this has been going on.
yeah.
Yeah.
When they could have
Delayed that.
acquired other studios a lot smaller and made more progress in the gaming industry, but they've been concentrating on this. So for that reason, I hope it does go through.
Sony, yeah, I hope it's...
And also to get Diablo on Game Pass. Keep saying that.
I want that on. I want that on Game Pass because I'll play Diablo with you, Jen.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I was testing the recent PTR Red, so
What?
I'll be happy to play that with you when it starts.
Yeah. Oh, because it had a preview, right? Testing preview type thing. For
Yeah.
it. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Keen.
Oh.
I also think the way he framed it, talking about Sony when they bring up the Last of Us show, Sony has other business avenues as well, just like Microsoft. So they've managed to successfully take that IP and move it into another area of the entertainment industry, and it's now a television show that's very successful. be making money off that and so on and so forth. I'll just repeat that.
So Bobby
Yeah.
did that strategically too.
Yeah.
Did you notice?
Yeah, I did notice. I was
Because
like,
he's then saying, "Hey, Sony have this other money stream that Microsoft and Xbox doesn't have."
Yep.
And they've turned a big game franchise into a big TV show, and they're making money off that, which is something Xbox can't do. Because what you got to remember is, yes, you could say, "Oh, they've got Halo TV show," but that's third party. That's being done third party. It's not in house. Sony's got Sony Pictures. As Sony Studios, so they're doing that in house apparently. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the case.
No,
So
it's true,
yeah, so he's painting that picture again that they've got more than just gaming as a streaming as a service as well. So yeah, he's pretty clever on what he's doing and how he's saying it, but he's also trying to say that that Sony are trying to sabotage the deal, which is interesting as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
accuses them of sabotaging Microsoft's takeover of the company
yep.
Yeah.
And
because they stopped talking to him.
And I mean, I really, really, really think it is important, like what you stressed earlier, Ashtray, around like, if this deal doesn't go through, like, Bobby Kotick stays. Like,
Yeah.
if it goes
Nobody wants that.
through, nobody wants that.
Nobody.
Like, the fact that Microsoft is all in for the, why can't I think of anything today? Apparently my brain is dead. It's been a long week.
Dead or did?
Yeah. What?
It's deep.
Unions, that's the word I was after. Like, they're supporting unionization, they're doing all of that, and that is what they're planning on doing when they acquire this publisher with all those studios and all those IPs and so on and so forth. We're wanting to make sure that the workers, the actual developers who work there, and I feel like, yes, you're looking at competition, but you've also got to take into account like everything else holistically that impacts the deal and the developers and so on and so forth. Do you think Activision isn't going to be impacted if the deal doesn't go through? Of course it's going to be impacted. You're going to see developers probably not want to work there anymore and that sort of stuff. They don't want to be under Bobby Kotick and take a stand that way. So there are ramifications around this deal not going through that is more than just Sony and their money and their greed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I think that was was that our last topic for the day?
I think it was, yeah. And Elite's gone for
Oh,
poo.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Someone chatting to me. Me and Jen went for a poo together. So, I'm back now. She's still there. Left her to clean up. So, so was that how long was it?
Oh, fuck me.
She'll be a while.
Jen is
That's
officially
fine, isn't it?
going to murder you. And I don't blame her.
Oh, she said it down there. She just said it in the chat.
STUF Elite.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Man, that's funny.
Yep.
So, yeah, while Jen's doing the numbers,
Can I just ask the chat,
Go
has
on.
anyone else in the chat had a chance to try Hogwarts?
because I have a
Legacy?
poo.
Yeah, has anyone else had a chance to do that? No. Has anyone else had it in the chat had a chance to play Hogwarts Legacy? Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to know.
Oh, yes, listen.
We'll just wait to read. No. I'm basically just going to go make some
Shows offering for
brunch
some
and then
reason.
jump onto
Red.
Hogwarts Legacy for the rest of the day.
And my poll is, I looked at my poll, I done a poll about the ABK deal, people thinking it'd go through. 93% said yes, and 6% said no.
And that was
Elite, you can't vote.
1.6 million votes.
You can't vote 16 times with your 16 alt YouTube accounts. That's not really fair.
No, I'm just wondering how the percentage works out 93 and 6.
You
What
mean
happened to the
not
other 1%?
97?
No, it's 6%.
Yeah, it's
Look.
6.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's either 97 or it's 94 or...
No, it's
Yeah.
93.
1%. I abstained. I'm the 1%.
Oh, that wasn't. Oh, okay,
Kidding.
what an option. Yeah. So 90%, 6% of people in the world, no, just people in our chat, think it will go through. So I think it'll go through. It'll be disgusting if it didn't go through. I think, and it'll be a massive wrongdoing and unjust, and it will just show. It'll be just evidence, hands down, that there's a bias towards Sony, and Xbox cannot compete on a level playing ground against Sony. And I hope going forward, then, if that's the case, Microsoft will then start spending more cash and just ruin Sony, basically. Just start, buying up all exclusivity for everything. Just, we'll play their game. We'll buy all third-party games exclusive. All of them. Just have them all exclusive.
I just kind of find it funny that Sony is doing the mum and pa type comment around, like, you know how you've got your little mum and pa stores and then you've got your big Walmarts and Targets and all of those sort of places. And Microsoft is seen as one of those big guys coming in and, like, just changing how the market works. They've been in the market for gaming for over 20 years, because they also did obviously stuff in PC. But true. And so they understand all of that. And I feel like PlayStation is just not acknowledging that contribution that they've made to gaming as well. And they're just kind of, we're a small company, we can't punch as high in the sense of their money behind them. But no, you make a huge splash, Sony, and to downplay that is just the most stupid, weak thing to do. And Crying Ryan is all behind it.
Yeah, well, they chose not to innovate.
Yeah.
Or innovate enough to push the industry forward. And so that's their problem.
Again, their argument crumbles under the most basic research, and if they actually provide the figures on, where they're coming from, which is why they've gone quiet, because actually, they are the leaders in the industry, they just don't want to admit it.
Yep.
Well, Monad said he's playing Hogwarts now. Yes! I'm going to go play it after I have food.
Yeah, I think... Are we done here? I think we're all podcasts are done.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We're going to delete Elite off the show, like I said. No. That was announced. We're cutting costs, so... Yeah.
We've been made redundant. There is no severance package.
Hopefully I'm getting a massive payout.
No.
But hang on. We need comic relief.
Yeah.
He can just...
We can have him on as a guest.
We'll just have him on as a guest occasionally.
Yeah. But I would ask for... I won't be on the mates rates, though. I'm sorry.
No, you'll be free.
So does everyone want to say goodbye? Do you want to say goodbye? Red Jamie, got a channel, have you? Have you got anything on your channel yet?
Oh, yeah. I've got myself. I've got some icons, and I've got some very old videos. I was actually contemplating doing like a Hogwarts review, but whether or not I do that is another story, because my background...
We know the answer to that.
Probably not. I want to, like the intent, like the idea of like I want to, whether or not I will actually follow through is another story. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It'll get you clicks.
Yeah, we'll
do it.
Clicks.
For the wrong reasons, but do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want people blocking me on Twitter just because I've played the game.
Yeah. So everyone, please subscribe to Red's channel. She's got no content whatsoever, but she's a girl. So, so just for that reason alone. Jen, do you have a YouTube channel? Jen?
I do not.
No.
No.
So you have a
but
Twitter.
You can find me on Windows Central or on Twitter at GenBox360 for some hot takes.
Or she will probably be being interviewed by police after her comments about burning things to the ground.
Burning the CMA to the ground.
Ashtray, my brother, my bro, you've got a channel and you put content on it like me, didn't you?
Yeah. Not really. I haven't done a video in about 2 months. Or maybe even 3 now. Yeah. Look, this year is going to be huge for Xbox, so I should get off my butt and do something. I do enjoy doing it. I was going to make a video on something. Yes, the Direct. Thank you for reminding me. But I lost like 90% of it, and I was like too pissed off to try and start again. So I just dumped it. But that's computers for you, because they suck. But my videos that I've done are still gaining some views because there was some talk about Ubisoft Plus actually, like it keeps happening every few months, but actually going to happen soon. And that video keeps getting views because people are searching for it. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, other than that, YouTube, Xbox, Twitter, all under AshtreyGaming. It's TREY.
Also,
Yeah.
you've got your website for hating on Elite, right? You're the person who leads that.
Yes. So we
Yeah.
just launched that yesterday. Delete Elite.
Yeah, delete Elite.
And
How's
you
that
can
going?
actually see exactly what he does look like on there.
Yeah.
I
So
told
it's
you, he looks like a
crowdfunded.
foot. He looks like a foot. Yeah,
Yeah.
with
Yep.
blonde hair.
And he's got all
Is
his
it-
pillow
is it-
pets. Yep.
Is it
Behind
true?
it?
Yeah.
Can I get a link to this for personal reasons?
Elite.
Oh, and we go. Play your cards right. Play your cards right. I think that's
God damn.
so. Should we get out of it? Should we go off and just do whatever it is we do? Where we
Yep.
fade away.
I suppose we better play games, you know.
Yeah.
Oh
Sounds
yeah, we
like a
play
plan.
games. That's right. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Indeed, we do.
All right. So thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. And you know, this is us signing out. Goodbye for now.
See you all later.
Bye. Thank you for watching, chat.
Peace.